All right, so it is the 1st of February 2026. Let's do a trading review of the two trades that we've taken this week and also a February expectation of what I'm looking in terms of a focus for February, what I'm doing, how to document my process of trades through February, and overall just become a better trader to increase the probability and increase the chances to pretty much make it certain that I'm going to get my funding. So I only took two trades. One was a loss, one was a win. And I took the loss first on Tuesday the 27th. But this was a very straightforward trade that we understood why I took the loss. We understood why the trade went completely the wrong way. And it was because of development to my systems. At that point, we still had the 4+1, where it was an option to have a retest of the lows or a retest of the highs, depending on whether it's a buy or a sell. In this case, it's a buy, so I was waiting on retest of the lows, is what I should have done. So I understood right away when I was on the open, you can see, took the buy, previous 1 minute, closed you with no top wick. So that's a very key indication you're starting to get the rejections back down into the range to give me closures to come down and retest that 5059 area. So although trade comes down, you're looking to swipe these lows again for price action to start coming up. This is now used as a validation area and something that we've pushed through in terms of verification for the trades after. The trade taught me to wait for a retest as a validation and requirement, which is now why we have a 5-point checklist. I know that I keep putting up 4+1 throughout the week, but it is a 5-point checklist. The +1 is now mandatory. I'm waiting and expecting the higher time frames to give it a retest to some form of level on the lower time frame. So we saw that this trade comes down. You're looking at price action to actually find a validation here at 5059, which unfortunately it didn't. Price action clean straight cut straight through all the way down towards your stop loss, and price action would have just continued all the way down to then is this the same trade opportunity? It's not the same trade opportunity, but it would have just wicked you out completely. And that was the trade idea for, or the trade that we actually took. Now, the second trade that we took through the week was on Thursday's trading session, where we took a winning trade. However, I got out of the trade too early, and I believe it was Thursday the 29th. No, it was Wednesday the 28th. Okay, yeah, I got it here. Wednesday the 28th. So, for this, everything was completely textbook on this trade position. We had the copy on price action, we had the narrative, we had the current range, we had the liquidity areas. So we know exactly what we wanted to happen and what to expect on price. If we look here, it's a textbook play. You had liquidity areas, we took the rebreak at a highs. I'm really, really super happy with how this trade actually played out. The loss that I took earlier in the week on Tuesday is what actually allowed me to take this trade position. It's a textbook play using the system, but the whole plan was not followed as I closed out manually when price followed my plan, or when it still followed my plan. We exited the position based off of the idea in my head that the 1 minute time frame is going to start coming down. So my mind is already playing tricks on me when I'm in the trade position and I see the 1 minute. Okay, you don't close top wick on the 1 minute time frame. You're going to start pulling back. Let's trail my stops, or a manual closure in my case, because I saw price action rebreaking its current candle low. My intention is price action is going to come down. But what I didn't think about is I'm already risk free off of this trade position, so I'm no longer risking anything. And if I really wanted to trail stops, I want to put it in a logical position. The 1 minute is a little bit too aggressive for this current trade setup because we know that price action needs to come back down to probably give you a retest towards this area. So if I really want to go above and beyond on a winning trade idea and go full aggression with conviction on this trade, I have to allow my trade as much room as possible for price to continue the retest to then start pushing you up to a full TP, and in this case 302 pips. So I came out here with a plus 195 pip win. That's completely fine. I'm happy with taking that win. But if I'm looking at solely protecting my system and following that, then I should have continued to keep like holding my trade position and only set my stops to break even. That's my current plan. So yes, I've veered off of my actual plan that I was supposed to execute. Even though I came out with a win, I'm not particularly proud of it when you start thinking in this form of mindset. Yes, we got a win, but it would have been 302 pips. And if I think about it outside the box when we go into the future, if I just keep taking trades and manually closing it where my risk to reward doesn't really technically make too much sense, then actually it would hinder my data gathering. It would hinder my progress going forward. Because let's say if I only focus on getting a positive risk to reward ratio, if I'm suddenly closing it out, I'm not following the pattern. So my consistency is going to decrease. That means some of my losses is going to be much larger. Some of my wins is going to be irregular, inconsistent. And that's what we're trying to get rid of. I'm trying to better understand where I get my entry, following the narrative and following the systems. So when we can follow the systems, we're going to have a consistent plan. We know what to expect, and there is no emotion driven into that trade position, because this, although it was a green win, it was profits, we're still adding emotion to it. And that's something that we're trying to completely delete out of the equation. So that's the two trades that we went over. That is the wrap up of this week done. I want to go over my February expectations. Since this is the 1st of February, it's a Sunday, I want to go over what my primary focus is going into this entire month. What are my plans? What are my goals? What are the outcomes that I want to see myself achieve by the end of February? I have plans that mid-year I want to go traveling. I need money. I need capital. And I want to put myself in the best possible position with trading to utilize all of the benefits and get all of this locked in. So for February, my expectations are, I know I most likely will not get a funded payout this month. That is completely fine, but we are pushing for success. And that pushing for success is utilizing my systems and my approach and push this to a much higher standard. We've seen now on this first step of the journey in 2026 that the systems work. So now in February, my primary objective is to get these systems to a very consistent basis, a foundation that I can say, yes, I can solely rely on the systems. There is no emotion involved. And I'm removing unplanned management, which is the manual intervention. So this right here, no more of this manual closure. I want to either see a full stop loss, a stop loss to break even, stopped out on, or a full take profit. That is my three outcomes. I am never going to put myself in a situation where I'm manually closing out the trade unless there is a very logical reason to put a trailing stops below a retest area. So for example, once price action has retested this area and then starts pushing you up, you will then confirm to trail your stops here, because you're under the intention price action no longer has any form of reason to break form a structure in this area. Therefore, you are still securing some form of profit without it coming all the way down, because you're already certain price action will come down to stop you out. You may as well secure something on the table to make your position actually pay. And that's that. Focus on one trade process at a time. Do not get caught up on the outcomes. Focus on your systems. And that is it. 3 simple points for me to go over for February. I know that funding will not come in terms of payouts this month, but we are going to do our absolute best to try our best to, well, push this account, push the consistency. And once I can gain confidence with knowing that my system works every single time, we'll be looking at actually getting more funded accounts to stack that up on and get the challenges passed.